everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Have you got 10 minutes? With me, Nikki Tapper. Hope you're well, and thank you for joining me for the second episode of the current series, where I get to talk to some household names, whether they be in business, TV, film, theatre, music. And because they're busy people, and I'm a busy person, and you're a busy person, I just see whether or not they've got 10 minutes. It gives you and me the opportunity to find out what they've been up to, how they got into the careers that they have, and what is their favourite music track. So my guest this week has become a dear friend of mine, and I'm really pleased to get the opportunity to talk to her because she's so busy. She's a key actor in the popular soap drama or drama in its 14th episode or 14th series called The Midwife. She's recently been in Coronation Street. So I'm so pleased that I get to talk to actor Linda Hargreaves. And as always, I asked Linda, have you got 10 minutes?
Actually, Nikki Tapper, I think I have.
Why, thank you. I'm so pleased I can catch you for these 10 minutes just to find out what you're up to and ting. Now, many will recognise probably the voice, although it always has an accent in that very popular drama that I've mentioned called The Midwife. But that's not how you actually started, was it? How did you get into acting?
No, not at all.
Go on.
Well, I'd always wanted to be an actress. Since I was about 6 or 7, I wanted to be an actress. But my bad luck was that I was raised in the most Jamaican Birmingham family that you could ever wish to envisage. So as a little kid, saying to my mother, I want to be an actress. Hands on hips immediately. What do you mean you want to be a actress? What kind of job that? That's not a job. Actress? How about that? So I knew right there and then that I was going to have an uphill task to achieve my goal. I'm sure I'm not the only Windrush baby actor that has probably got a variation of this story to tell, because back in the day, being in the arts, it wasn't viewed as a job, because don't forget, most of our parents came over here to better themselves. So they wanted us all to become doctors and lawyers and journalists and teacher and surgeon and all of them kind of thing. So when you got your 7-year-old saying, I want to be in Crossroads, I want to be an actress, didn't go down too well.
And what? Funny you mentioned that though, because Crossroads, dramas of the 70s and 80s, we didn't see many black and brown faces on there anyway. But the programs that we did see, such as you said, the early years of Crossroads and other dramas, even Grange Hill, from that standpoint. Were they inspiring to you?
Absolutely. Do you remember when, I think I can actually remember the episode when Mac, the black mechanic, rocked up in Crossroads. My eyes nearly popped out my head. Do you remember Mac?
No, of course I don't know who's that. No, what era are you talking about?
I'm probably a slightly older vintage than you. But, back in the day, as you were saying, there wasn't that much representation of people that looked like me on the telly, especially not in, the high profile soaps and dramas. So when somebody did rock up, when a black character did rock up, I was able to poke my mother in the side and go, look, see, he's doing it.
So I'm going to follow in those footsteps. So there you are then, as you said, you're in that household, you're not going to be supported to go into the arts, go into acting, but you actually, even though I know that that's not the route that your parents want you to go on, you did do what they asked you to do, but you were always being quite comedic as well, which is where I think we got to know each other.
Yes. And, God rest her soul, my mother will be looking down on me, probably still saying the thing that she always used to say, because I used to find the funny in everything. And my mother used to say, stop laugh. Not everything is joke. And I thought, well, you know what? It can be. Why can't everything be? So, yeah, it was that typical, matriarchal Jamaican mother sense of humour bypass that my mum had. So, she used to look at me sometimes and say, I wonder where you come from. And I thought, I'm really not going to get into the whole biology of that now, Mum.
No, please, let's not do that now.
So, I went to school. I was always in the school plays. I was always the first person to audition for a part. It didn't matter what the part was. I had to be on that stage. And then when I was about 15, I joined Birmingham Youth Theatre. That became my life. And I lived for Friday evenings when we had rehearsals. I lived for it. I got up on a Friday morning getting ready for school. I wasn't thinking about school. I was thinking about 7:00 that night when I could go to Birmingham Youth Theatre and muck about on the stage with like-minded teenagers. It was just amazing. And
with that being the case, then, as you said, that kept your interest.
I wanted to go to drama school. My parents were having none of it.
Yes.
None of it. It was quite a challenging time between me and my mother. I'd had an older sibling that had gone off to university. She became a teacher, and I had other siblings that, were doing all the expected things of them. I bargained with my mother in the end. I bargained with her, and she said, you study, you get your A-levels, you pass your A-levels, and we'll see what happens. Oh, my God, did I work on those A-levels? I didn't eat for 2 years. I didn't wash. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I just thought, right, she's thrown down that gauntlet.
Yeah.
I've got to win. Very reluctantly, I was allowed to go off to drama school. And initially, this was back in the 80s. It was hard. It was tough. Everybody told me, don't do it. Don't do it. There's no work. You're going to be a black performer. You won't get an agent. You won't get any work. Most of what people said was true for that particular time. So I thought, right, this isn't working. I did it for like 4 or 5 years, just about managed to scrape enough to pay the rent. I thought, no, they were all right. So I went into teaching, and I became a primary school teacher for, best part of 20 years. And then suddenly I started watching telly a bit more, going to the theatre. So this is now, we're talking about 2010-ish. And I thought, hang on, there's black people on that stage. And I'll be right. And I'd be sitting with me and my husband and go to the theatre, and I go, hang on a minute, hang on.
Yeah.
There's four black people in the cast. And I thought, right, I've got to have another go. So to cut a long story short, I'd worked my way up to management in primary education. And I thought, no, I've got to go. I've got to have one more chance. I've got to give myself another go. So I did, and cut to now. And I've been in Coronation Street. I'm a regular in Call the Midwife. I've been in Vera. I've been in Doctors. Oh, I've lost count. I've worked with some of my idols. I had the honour of working with Glenda Jackson.
My goodness.
I've worked with David Tennant. Oh, I can't remember anymore.
I know. Well, it sounds absolutely amazing. I think it's just the joy of hearing how you chose to stick at it and still go for your dream. As an older woman, because that's again sometimes the sense you get in the industry is that you unless you're 21 going on 16, you don't stand a chance. And so with that in mind, going to the rest of the year and onwards, Call the Midwife, as you said, one of the biggest BBC dramas that they have.
Yes, we're in the middle. Yeah, we're in the middle of filming series 14. I can't believe it.
Look at that.
So this is my 5th year. And I went in, the character of Mrs. Wallace went in for one episode. And 5 years later, she's still there. So there you go. So it's a thrill, and it's an honour to be part of something that connects with so many people. Because the way that people watch TV now, it's completely different to how we watched it back in the day. Families now generally don't all congregate together to watch stuff. But Call the Midwife is one of the few dramas that is still bringing in the huge audience figures, and it's become an institution. It's well loved. And I'm just so pleased to be part of it, and also to be contributing to telling a little bit of the Windrush story on behalf of all of that generation that came over here in the 1950s and 60s and made their lives here as Brits. And it's just lovely.
Definitely so key. Well, Linda, as I said, I know you're busy. We've only got 10 minutes and it's been a joy already just hearing a snippet of some of your life journey and what you're currently doing. One thing I'm going to ask all the guests that I have here on my Have You Got 10 Minutes, because it's so key to me and I love music and I know you love music. What's the favourite track, that you think, when I need a little bit of a boost, this is the track that I turn to? So what's your favourite music track and why?
Oh my goodness me. It's got to be, there's no other choice. It has to be Boogie On, Reggae Woman. And I will tell you why. Because Stevie Wonder is a god.
Yes.
Anything to do with Motown has just been touched by stardust. It's got that Caribbean vibe, which I love. It's got the sunshine vibe, which we haven't got much of today, but maybe if you play it, the sun will come out. And it's just a happy song. And I defy anybody to listen to Boogie on Reggae Woman and not even tap their toe, because you will. You've got to.
Many thanks again to my guest, Linda Hargreaves. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Have You Got 10 Minutes. Please do follow me on all social media platforms. Just look for the name Nikki Tapper, NIKKITAPPER. And join me again when I get the opportunity to ask somebody, have they got 10 minutes? Have You Got 10 Minutes is created and produced by Nikki Tapper for NT Events Limited and Nikki Tapper Limited.